Sarah Millican television programme, the show that kneels at the altar of TV before realising it can't get up without some help. I absolutely love telly, and it's taught me everything that I know. We all love Frozen Planet, don't we? Yes. The only programme on the telly that makes you put a cardi on. David Attenborough is like your uncle, but without the tendency to hug you just a bit too long once you've turned 15. I've learned a lot about crime from watching Sherlock. In the one I saw, he deduced a visitor had been to Tunisia, owned 3 dogs, and had attended his ex-girlfriend's birthday. Well done, Sherlock. I can look on Facebook as well. Sherlock, of course, is played by Benedict Cumberbatch. What a name, Cumberbatch. Sounds like something Paul Hollywood has just taken out of the oven. I do find it disappointing when my Cumberbatch doesn't rise. But apparently it can happen to anyone. I've learnt that there's no better entertainment than a good Saturday night extravaganza like Strictly. Yay. I don't think I could ever go on Strictly. I worry that just before doing one of the lifts, Brendan Cole would turn to me and say, "Actually, you better lift me." I'm not into dancing at all. I think you dance at your wedding and then again when he dies. Tonight I'm going to be talking about 2 of my favourite types of TV, crime shows and medical programmes. On the telly, all doctors seem to be part-time investigators, don't they? The closest I get to that is when my doctor tells me to list me recent partners. I love Casualty. I only ever watch the first 5 minutes, though. It always starts with someone saying, "Don't be silly, I've been tightrope walking without a protective helmet for years." Yes, in stilettos. No, the chainsaw helps me balance. Did you know that there are people whose job it is to be a professional casualty for hospital dramas and ambulance training? It's a bit awkward when they fancy a day off, though. They have to call in healthy. I woke up this morning and I feel fantastic. I won't be in for a couple of days. All the actors in those programmes have to learn all the technical terms. For years, I thought a defibrillator was something that gets the bobbly bits off your woolly jumper. It's not that much an emergency. Just keep your coat on. But I've got those new parking sensors on my car, and when I'm trying to get in a space for the 4th time, probably, it sounds like someone dying in Holby City. Beep, 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 beep. Which was appropriate that one time with that poor fella. I've got a friend who, for any injury, can tell you how long the wait in A&E is. You should put a chart on the wall like that. You know, a sprained ankle, 2 hours, broken arm, 3 hours. If you've got something up your bum, 2 minutes, because they want to see the nutters. So if you cut your finger off, just stick it up your arse. At the end of most hospital dramas, you know if the medical procedure has worked. If there was a homeopathic medical drama, the episode would last for weeks. And nothing would happen. Just lots of gormless people saying, "Well, I feel a bit better, thanks." Don't worry about that. Homeopathic jokes never work. Keep things formal with your doctor, don't you? If you start calling them by their first name and then show them your bits, it feels more like a first date. What do you think of that? Well, my dad found out recently that he had gout. My sister caught him on the computer looking at gout.com. He shouted down the stairs, "I've never even had any bloody pheasant." For a routine prostate examination recently. Give us a cheer if you know what that involves. The men are like, "Moo." There's a lady there clapping. He was a bit worried about it as he hadn't had anything like that before, and I said, "You know, there's no need to worry. The doctor's done this a million times. It'll be fine." And he said, the problem is that I'm a bit constipated. Well, actually, what he said was, I'm a bit backed up. He was worried it'd be less like an examination and more like a game of whack-a-mole. And he said, I just want to get a couple of turds under my belt before the appointment. Don't put them under your belt, Dad, they'll section you. I've been wearing glasses since I was 6, so for 30 years. And at my last checkup, the optician said my eyesight is improving. You'd think I'd be thrilled, though, wouldn't you? But I was gutted. There's a reason your eyesight is supposed to get worse as you get older. It's so that you can't see the full deterioration of your face. You know when you see an old lady with a full tash and you think she's just given up? She hasn't. She's blind as a bat. She's looked in the mirror that morning and gone, champion. I love embarrassing bodies. What did people do before that show? Maybe that's why there were more flashes then. Please don't scream. I just want to know if you've seen one this shape before. Okay, in case you haven't guessed it, I'm not really a medical expert. I have dressed up as a nurse a couple of times. I wore 70 denier tights and washed his arse with a cloth. I can never say what men find so sexy about it. So to help me through the icky world of TV medics, please welcome the star of Embarrassing Bodies, Dr. Pixie McKenna. Welcome, Dr. Pixie.
Thank you.
Let's have a little look at you in action.
We're attaching specialist monitoring equipment to Dr. Pixie's body and brain so that Dr. Lewis's assistant can measure how her brain behaves under the influence of 6 units of neat vodka.
Okay. So how are you feeling now, Pixie?
I'm feeling a little bit squiffy.
Did you say Sister Susie sewing shirts for sailors?
Sister Susie sewing. No.
So, do you just get hammered for a living?
Brilliant.
Now, Doctor, I'm suffering vaginal dryness. It's not a joke. Just wondered if you could suggest something. No, because you do talk a lot in your show about vaginal dryness. I mean, I know vaginas are supposed to be moist, but like a fruit cake, or, you know, like not as sponge, not as dry as a meringue, not as sloppy as a trifle.
Sponge is good.
Like a good sponge. I like that a lot. Have you ever said to a patient, what the fuck is that? Like, have you ever seen something that made you jump onto a chair?
Not quite jump on the chair, but sometimes smells are the things that really get me. Smells are bad.
Are you good at sort of hiding that from your face?
Anyone who watches me on television knows I'm not any good at hiding anything from my face. I go and make all these faces all the time, unfortunately.
Well, that's good, because then they know something's definitely wrong. That's good. Let me ask you, how much sex should couples actually have? Like, what's the least amount you can get away with?
Do you know that the NHS says you should have sex every 3 days?
The NHS?
Yes.
What business is it of theirs?
If you want to have a baby, you should have sex every 3 days.
Oh, if you want to have a baby, well, that's a totally different question, though.
Apply that rule. You can extrapolate that rule to your daily life, don't you think?
Every 3 days.
It's healthy. It's calorie burning.
Is it?
It's free.
financially free, but it's not emotionally free. You set up special units in supermarket car parks, you guys, don't you?
Everywhere. We crop up everywhere.
Just how bad can it be if somebody's willing to show it in a porta cabin, you know? But the good thing about that, though, is that because they always have the RAC, so if somebody can join the RAC and get their knob checked out at the same time. Now, Dr. Pixie, I'd like your diagnosis on some genuine X-ray pictures that we've found, if that's all right.
I'm no good at anatomy.
You might be quite good at these.
No, I called the liver the lung, I failed.
You called the liver the lung?
Yes.
I'm not surprised you failed anatomy. Is that why you just stick to, like, giblets
exactly.
now? OK, let's have a look at the first one. What do you think's going on here? Any ideas?
No ideas. This is an exam, is it?
Yeah, we are going to mark you at the end. No, that is a bullet. Now, wouldn't you think it would probably be best to get that out of you? Yeah. Well, this is actually 84-year-old Fred Goff from the West Midlands who's had that inside him for 67 years. After unknowingly being shot in World War II. How are you unknowingly shot? In the almost nudges. OK, what about the next one? What is your diagnosis for this one?
I know that one. I'd say that's a key.
That is a key. There's a student, Chris Foster, who swallowed his key to stop his friends taking him home. And finally, let's have a look at the last one there. Oh, that's... Anybody spot what it is? Can you spot what it is, Dr. Pixie?
I would have no idea what that is.
This unfortunate man got a Buzz Lightyear action figure. Accidentally stuck up his bum. How does that work? Oh, honest, I just slipped. Shit, it wasn't a Woody. You've got a friend in me. Well, this has been way more fun than a usual trip to the doctor, so thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Pixie McKenna. Thank you. I also love TV about crime and shows like Watchdog. It's good to pick up tips. For example, if someone asks you for your mother's maiden name and the name of your first pet, you're either being scammed or they're trying to find out your porn star name. Thousands of people fall for scams every year. The Nigerian bank account one, the bogus timeshares one, and children in need. Apparently that one's real. I sent £5 to the World Wildlife Fund for a panda. Still haven't got one. But I have got a card from the post office saying there's something I need to collect. The crime series The Wire was so popular in the USA that it caused crime to go down in some areas while criminals watched it. Until the DVD came out and shoplifting went through the roof. Me and my fella bought the box set for Christmas last year instead of getting engaged. We thought it was a longer-term commitment. I had my phone stolen when I was in France last year. We were in a restaurant and there was a bloke asking for money from people sat outside. We were inside because I don't like wasps. Or the French. He had a sheet of paper with some French on it. Unless it had said, "Où est le supermarché?" or "J'aime le discothèque," we had no chance. We decided to not make eye contact with him. He came over, put his sheet of paper down, lifted it back up and left, taking my mobile phone with him, all sleight of hand. Like a really shit close-up magic trick. The restaurant called the police and within 5 minutes an unmarked car with 3 plainclothes policemen arrived and whisked my boyfriend away to help try to spot him in the street. He was off having the adventure of a lifetime with 3 armed coppers running into metro stations going, pew, pew, pew. What noise does a French gun make? clunk. I surrender. The thing is, my boyfriend is no good at faces. And bearing in mind, this was a man we had purposefully not looked at. He's so bad at faces, I'm surprised he's never picked up the wrong girlfriend from the train station. Hi, babes, I thought you were coming to pick me up. There's a lady in the car. She's wearing glasses. I wondered why you looked cross. We were burgled once a long time ago. It's horrible, isn't it? And they took everything that had a plug, everything electrical, except the telly. It was an old telly with a wood veneer, and they just left it. But they took the remote. How mean is that? So not only have I still got a rubbish telly, now I've got to do exercise to turn it on. Now that's obviously a horrible crime, but what crimes are actually all right? Like stealing stationery from work is all right, isn't it? It's all right? Yeah. People going, yeah. But I wonder if you should ask about that at your interview, for the job. Have you got the proper Bics or just the shit ones? I think eating food as you go around the supermarket is fine too. Sometimes I end up at the till with just a small bag of barcodes. Driving with a headlight out. I mean, a car, not the boob. I know someone who knows a lot about crime. He's not here, but we can speak to him by the magic of the internet. They've told me there's some kind of lightweight head stuff I have to put on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my dad, Philip.
Nice.
Hello, how are you?
Champion.
We've been talking about crime. Now, you've had something quite recent happen to you, haven't you, on Bonfire Night? You were like the victim of a crime, I suppose, weren't you?
Well, crime. I was busy opening the garage door to put the car away. And a young lad rode by on his bike and threw a lit firework at me.
Oh, my God. So what happened after you threw the lit firework at you?
I caught it.
So he clearly hadn't realised that you're something of a superhero. So you caught the lit firework and then?
I went into the back lane and I threw it back at him.
And where did it land?
In the hoodie on the back of his jacket. I hoped and prayed that it would explode and blow his bloody head off.
We'll probably cut that bit from the telephone. Up until then, you sounded like a bit of a hero. But after that, you just sound like a scary old man. Thank you very much, Dad. Let's give him a round of
What's up, darling?
Now, the king of crime shows is Crime Watch, isn't it? A mate of mine rang Crime Watch to say she'd seen the crime. Turns out she'd seen the reconstruction being filmed. He had an accomplice who seemed to powder his nose a lot. The getaway van was very distinctive. On the side it said BBC TV. Hope that helps. So what I need here is an expert, someone who has a loose cannon, wants another 24 hours. It's his last case and he's too old for this shit. He breaks the rules, but he always gets results. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello, hello, hello to ex-copper and Crime Watch star, Rav Wilding. on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, Rav, I love your work and I've always been a big fan. Let's have a look at some of your highlights.
Okay.
And another. And another. I have to ask, when you were in your police uniform, did people not just think you were a stripper?
I did get hit on a few times, but it was normally from well, prostitutes and drug addicts.
That's not being
which was
hit on,
quite
love.
nice. I was
They're counting for business. If you have to pay for a date, it's not going well. Now, you were in the army, the police, and you were a security guard. Are you on uniformdating.com? I went on there and I ended up with a trombonist from the Salvation Army. Have you met any crazy criminals? That you were talking about the prostitutes before. Have you ever met any?
Well, yeah, I worked 8 years in Peckham, so there's a fair few. But there was this one guy that I nicked, and I sent him off to court. And a year later, I didn't hear anything. And a year later, I got a call saying, "Rav, can you come down to the front office? There's this guy. He's desperate to see you. He just will not go away." And I came down, and it was the same fella that I nicked a year before, having this dodgy passport. He had this massive smile on his face, and he's like, "Hello, hello, hello." He goes, "You're the best, you're the best." And I was like, "Where have you been?" He said, "In jail." He's been in jail for a year because of me, but he wanted to thank me because he had such a lovely time in prison. He was put in prison by the guy off the telly. So whenever one of my shows was on, he was like, "That's the one that put me in here," and everyone was patting him on the back and all sorts. He was like this little celeb.
So he dined out on that story for a whole year. Well,
year.
Dined in, I suppose, didn't he?
Yeah. Turkey roll for Christmas.
Now, I spend a lot of time in sort of strange cities late at night, and I was wondering if you could try something. Like, imagine I'm alone waiting for a bus. It's dark, it's dangerous, it's Gateshead. Come with me. Don't be scared.
Okay.
OK, now, I want you to go and hide. If you hide in the shadows, if that's all right. And then see if you can sneak up on me. Is that OK?
I'll give it a go.
Excellent, OK. I bet you can't. So I probably have a bit of music on. Best of Disney. You think I'm joking? Under the sea. It's cold. Should probably put a coat on. It's Gateshead though. Illegal. Oh my God! Oh my God, that was really good and slightly arousing. So, is there a way that I could have protected my bag a bit better than that? I thought I had a good hold of
definitely.
it. I thought because I was holding it as well.
But it's wide open for starters. You had your music on.
But the zip, the flappy bits come off the zip.
Well, fix the flappy bit then. Because
Okay.
not only could someone take the bag, they could put their hands in it, take the contents from the bag. There's something buzzing in there, by the way. You might want to sort that out.
So, is it true that there are things in your bag that you could use as weapons?
Yeah, is the answer, but only if you use them as... If you take them out as a proper object, so say you had an umbrella there to keep you dry, if someone attacked you and you used the umbrella to defend yourself, then that's OK.
OK,
But if you took it out on a hot, sunny day because you knew it would be a great weapon, that's not allowed, funny enough, in the eyes of the law.
But what if the weather's changeable?
I like your thinking.
You don't check your bag very much, you just leave it like that for years.
I like your thinking. So it's potential that you could have to use it to keep you dry.
Exactly. So it's just about having a good story when you've maimed a man, is it? I can do stories. So let me show you things that I've got in here that might be quite useful. I've got keys.
Yeah, OK.
I'm not actually a security guard, but I could
wowzers. Be. Yeah, keys can be very good. You can put them in between your fingers. You can scratch with them, you can do a lot with those. Even just, do you know what, if someone was attacking you and just lob that at them, it's a distraction technique. So yeah, there's a lot you can do with keys.
If you've done that, you've got to be careful when you use them again. You'd have to make sure you cleaned all the meat off, otherwise it wouldn't get in the tin.
Well, the meat would be very good because you get the DNA of it.
Oh, right, scrape the meat off into a little plastic bag. I like it. So other things I've got heavy floor tampons that can make any man run. Well, he's got a rough idea what my temperament's gonna be. I've got tweezers. Tweezers are good?
Yes, because you could pluck a hair and again get the DNA from that. So but that's
Really? You think I'm just going to hold him down? I'm going to gouge his bloody eyes out now. Well, I haven't said that. I do sometimes pluck them from my boyfriend's nostrils.
Oh.
Yes, and it brings
And it must
tears
hurt.
to his eyes. Yeah,
There
really.
you go. It's not, I'd rather not.
Okay, just offering. I've got a woolly hat, and I found this is quite useful as well. Because if you put it on, I'll show you. If you put it on like that, but you pull it up a bit so it's a bit, you know. I used to do this on the way. I used to have a really dodgy journey into work. It was 6 in the morning, it was dark, I had to walk along a dual carriageway, so I'd put my hat on, pull it up, and I'd sing When the Saints Go Marching In, really quietly under my breath, because the way to avoid the nutter is to become the nutter.
Untouchable.
What about this one? I don't know if I could do anything with this one. What about this this black belt that I got off me karate instructor last week? Can I do anything with that, do you think?
That'll come in very handy. Funny enough, my mum used to do that when she was a student nurse. She used to have her black belt hanging out of her bag when she'd walk home.
Really?
Because no one would touch her. Yeah, they were so scared of her.
Brilliant. So would I
Yeah.
just wrap that round somebody's neck or something?
We'll do that.
Thank you very much for all of
No
your
problem.
tips. Let's give them a round of applause for Apologies. Talked about the daytime soap Doctors. If you don't like going to see your GP, just keep watching that. What you've got is bound to come up sooner or later. On that or Pet Rescue. We didn't have time to talk about NHS Direct, but we have talked about Doctors, which is where they would have directed you anyway. To be fair, on the phone they can't see you. They're playing sickness battleships. B4, hit. You've sunk me testicle. Good night.
More comedy coming up here on BBC HD tomorrow with brand new 2012 at 10. Next tonight, though, after Vienna with Sex and Sensibility, the allure of Army Rome.